Okay guys, today we're going to be talking about texture and value, and we're going to use lines to create our texture and our value. Okay, we're going to draw these raccoons. Raccoons are great because they have fur, which gives us the texture that we want. And then they also have different values on their bodies of fur. They're all like different grays and blacks and stuff, okay? So you can see I have some light areas, I have some dark areas, and then I also have some middle areas, okay? So we're gonna use lines to create that texture and that value. But first, we have to draw our raccoon. So you're gonna get a paper that looks like this, okay? Normally, I would draw this in Sharpie so that you could see what I was doing. But there's a couple of lines that I'm going to want to erase and redo, okay? So I'm gonna do it in pencil too. I'm just gonna draw heavy, so it'll still show, but you wanna draw light. Draw light till you get it right, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is right up here, across the top, you're gonna draw almost like your raccoon's wearing a headband, a line like this. And then down the middle, you're gonna draw two lines that come out like this. Everybody's will look a little different, and that's okay. Okay, now this is for the eyebrows, and the eyebrows come, here's my heat, like this. See how the eyebrows on this one, they're coming across right here, okay? And then the eyes go here, and you're gonna do two circles. One, two. I'm gonna try to get them about the same size, but we are drawing kind of a cartoon raccoon, so it's okay if they're not the same size. It might be kind of cute. You might have a silly raccoon. Now, if you look inside of that eye, I drew the eye, and then I drew two highlights. You don't have to do it like that, but that's how I'm gonna do it. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is draw the nose. Now the nose looks kind of silly until you fill it in. When I drew it, it looks like a weird mouth with like a tooth coming down, okay? I kid you not, it's gonna look weird, but you gotta trust me. So what I did for the nose was I did an oval, and then I drew two little like highlights on it. And then I did a little short like rectangle under it. So yeah, see how it looks weird? It looks like a sloth or something with a weird little tooth coming down. But we're gonna fill that in black and it won't look like that. And then what you're gonna do is draw the bottom right here of where the nose goes, okay? And if you want to, I drew a little mouth down there. That might make it look less weird for right now. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw our ears. Now what I like to do for my ears is I like to do a big wide triangle, especially for a raccoon, but you can do a different kind of ear. Okay, one on each side. And then the body comes down. And then I drew a tail right here. So body, and then a tail. And it comes to a point, and then it comes back down. And then I just drew some little wiggly lines where they have the different values, okay? Okay, now, at this point, you're gonna take a Sharpie. You're gonna get a skinny Sharpie and a regular Sharpie, and you can use whichever one you want right now to outline things. I do want you to very quickly, we're gonna erase this line right here for sure. And then you can erase any of these other lines that you want to, if you need to. These won't erase, but that's okay, because when we draw our texture, you can draw it right over that and it'll kind of blend it in, okay? What you're gonna do now is kind of trace it. And when I traced it, I did lines like this so that it looked a little less fully filled in, a little bit more like fur. But you could trace it smooth and it would still look good. And if there's an area that you don't want to trace because you don't want to emphasize it, then you don't have to, okay? So take your Sharpie and trace it, and then if you want to fill in as well, so like when I did the eye, I filled that in, right? Okay, so you guys take a moment and trace. I'm gonna take a moment and trace, and then we'll come back. Okay, so this is what mine looks like right now, and I forgot to tell you guys to add a couple lines right here because this part will stay white, and then this part will be hair, okay? Now, I really like how I did mine, but I'm gonna show you kind of the concept here. So when we're using lines as texture for fur, right, you probably already understand that really easy. You just draw little short lines for fur. If the animal that you're drawing had long fur, you might do long lines, right? Okay. But when you're doing value, okay, if you use just a few lines, right, just like that, if I'm doing just a few little lines, it's gonna be light. So that would be like light colored fur, right? If I add more lines to it, it'll make it look like darker fur, okay? And then if you add even more lines to it where they're overlapping, you see how that makes it look even darker, okay? Another way that you can do that, and that's how I did it on this one, is I used my thin or skinny Sharpie for lighter fur areas, and then when I was doing darker fur, I used my regular Sharpie, and you see how they have two completely different values because of the line quality, okay? So I'm gonna do mine the same way I did here, but if you want to use your skinny Sharpie for everything, then when I do the dark areas, right, you're gonna have to add lots of lines to fill that in and make it look dark versus other areas that you wanna look light, and you spread those out, okay? So I'm gonna start with my dark areas. And what I did for dark areas, their areas around their eyes are dark. So that one, you're gonna do your regular Sharpie or lots of little Sharpie lines. And you're gonna add your little texture lines. And you see how when I get to the edge, I'm making them come over? That's okay, okay? That's all right. So my dark areas are gonna be here, 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 and here, okay? Or it could be here and here, just whichever one. You need two here and two that are gonna be light, okay? I'm gonna do some more dark areas here. And if you start to spread them out, see how it'll be a little bit lighter? So you can do, even with your dark Sharpie, you could do some areas that are darker that go to lighter. Okay, so then I'll do this and two more of these. You guys work on your dark areas. If you want to do it like this, where you use your skinny Sharpie and you do lots of lines, that's fine. If you want to use your regular Sharpie and do your dark areas with regular Sharpie, that'll be a little bit faster, and that'll be okay too, okay? So work on your dark areas, definitely here and here. I did the inside of my ears dark, okay? And then two areas on here that don't touch, like a pattern. And then we'll come back and we'll add some more texture. Okay, so I've got my dark areas done, okay? So now I'm gonna switch to my skinny Sharpie. And on this one, I was trying out some really spread apart lines right here in the eyebrows, but on this one, I'm gonna leave those white, and you'll be able to see the two different areas. So I'm gonna leave this white, just like I did here. Okay, and I'm not gonna put anything in there. And then the direction that the hair grows is important too, okay? So I'm gonna take the hair, see how we're not going sideways like this, right? So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna draw the hair up. And then as it comes up in the middle, it's gonna start to go kind of out like this. And And then when you get up to these ears, right, it's gonna go up and into here. And again, it's okay if it comes out over your line a little bit, that's okay. You can do it however you want. If you want this ear to be a little bit darker than here, you could add another layer like this, right? And it'll be darker. Or if you want it to be the same, I basically did them the same values, okay? Then it'll be the same. But I would say leave these white for right now. And you're gonna do the head, these parts of the ears, the body. If you wanna come through also as you go and do patches, see how I did everything basically the same? So you could also do like patches of dark fur in areas, right? By adding more lines to those sections, okay? So that's how that works. That's how you're creating value and texture with lines, okay? We're creating value and texture. So if you want to add some little dark patches, you can, but you don't have to. You can just create the lines. All right, so you're gonna do the head, the ears, these two sections, and the body. And I would say use your skinny Sharpie. Okay, so my raccoon is done because I had already decided before I started that I was gonna leave these white. If you would like to do some hair in here, we want them to be a really light value. So just like I was showing you on here, you're gonna spread your hairs way out like that, right? If you don't want to, you can leave it white like I did, okay? And at this point, we're done, unless you wanna come back like I did on here and do some patches of dark fur, right? You can do some little patches like this of dark fur, okay? But you don't have to. And then what you're gonna do, if you want to, you can leave it like this and leave the background black, and you can have a black and white photo, or you could draw stuff in the background, or you could color or paint. Well, we probably don't have time to paint, but you could do something in the background if you want to, and you could even color it. Or you can draw stuff that you wanna draw, like clouds or sun or something, but I'm gonna leave mine the way it is. I like it just like this. I like a nice clean drawing, okay? All right, so you guys decide what you're gonna do, and I can't wait to see these. I know they're gonna be creative and cool.